Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be heading out to film a gorgeous new construction home with my Osmo Pocket 3, and I'm going to be swapping out these two lenses here. I have the DJI wide angle lens, the one that comes with the creator combo, and then I also have another wide angle lens by K&F Concept, and I'm going to see which one, if either, really delivers. Stick around for the polished edit at the end and let me know in the comments which lens you think wins. Alright, so before we head out to the property, I just want to say that I never really thought that I would ever really test out these wide angle lenses. I didn't see myself using them because I didn't really like them. You know, I put out a video a while back right when the Osmo Pocket 3 came out, and I was talking about how to shoot real estate tours with this little camera. And in that video I mentioned that I thought that this was going to be one of the most popular cameras of 2024, and I think that I was accurate in saying that. And I personally love this camera, and it's probably my most used camera that I own, and I own several. But the reason why I didn't like the wide angle lens was because there was a lot of noticeable distortion. And so when I posted that original video, a lot of people were commenting, asking me why I didn't use the lens. And the reason why I didn't is because there's a lot of distortion with the DJI lens. And to the untrained eye, you probably don't notice it, but for me, it bothered me enough that I decided that I didn't want to use it in that original video. And secondly, anybody who knows me knows that I feel like the best accessory that you can buy for the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is a ND filter. So I use the K&F variable ND filter, and this wide angle lens that came with the creator combo just doesn't work with that ND filter. The magnets don't like each other. If I try to put one on top of the other, it goes all sideways and it doesn't work. So it wasn't until I realized that K&F Concept had their own wide angle lens that I decided to give it another try. So I purchased it and I decided, you know, maybe we'll give this another shot here with real estate. And then when I put it on, I realized that it's actually even wider than the DJI one. So the DJI one is a 15mm equivalent, whereas the K&F Concept is closer to 12mm. So it's actually even wider, and it probably has even worse distortion. So I'll show you guys a few side-by-side clips so you guys can judge for yourself. But in the meantime, let's just try these out really quick before we head out to the property. I just want to discuss vlogging, because I know which one of these lenses I'll be using if I decide to use one for vlogging, and that's going to be the K&F Concept, because that's the only one that's compatible with my ND filter. So that's the only one that I'll be walking around outside with on the camera, because I have to have the ND filter in order to achieve the best possible quality out of the Pocket 3. But for the sake of testing vlogging, I'm just going to hold this camera out where you guys can see it. It's about arm length out. If you hold the camera like this all day, I think that the framing looks good. It does start to wear on your deltoids a little bit here. I consider myself somebody who works out quite often, and this will still begin to burn after I hold this out here if I'm vlogging for a long period of time. So it'd be nice to have a little bit wider lens so I could hold the camera in like this and still have some decent framing. So I'm gonna show you guys right now. We're gonna start with the DJI, what it looks like, and you guys can pay attention to end of frame. It's kind of like right where my neon light ends. That's the end of frame. The built-in lens on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is 20mm. So this wide angle lens attachment should bring it to 15mm. And you can see right away that it got so much wider. You can see right there where that neon light ends. Let's take it off again so you guys can see the difference. So that's the difference between 20mm and 15mm using the DJI branded wide angle lens. So now I'm going to put on the K&F Concept so you guys can see it is a little bit wider. And that's with the K&F Concept. And you'll also see, because I'm in a room, some lens distortion. You'll see some of the lines on the wall and the ceiling are a little bit curved. That being said, if I was walking around outside vlogging and it was wide open, I don't think you would notice this lens distortion as much as you notice now, because you have the ceiling and the corner of the room and everything else to look at for reference. So the point of having this lens on would be so I could hold the camera closer to myself like this. And that way I wouldn't have to fully extend it out like this, and it would just make vlogging so much easier. Okay, so I'm out at the property. I'm not going to use the ND filter inside this property right now because there's some overcast lighting outside. So the lighting in here is actually pretty good. The windows may be a little bit blown out, but for the most part, I think the lighting in here is pretty good. So I've turned on all the lights. I have the fireplace on. I now have my wide angle lens adapter. I actually brought both of them to give you guys kind of an opportunity to see how they both look. And yeah, we're gonna shoot the house really quick. My settings on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 right now are 4K, 60 frames per second. Shutter speed is 1/120th of a second, and I have it on auto white balance. And then my ISO is set from a range of 50 to 800. I may have to bump that ISO up a little bit. I'm not quite sure. We'll see once I start getting the shots, and I will let you know kind of what I think here. I'm actually gonna start with the K&F adapter here. So now I'm just gonna do a couple push-in shots. One thing I realized, it's better to have more footage than less footage. I'd rather have too much than too little. So instead of doing the orbit shot around the fireplace this time, I'm just gonna do a push-in and see if I like that better. I'm gonna do it with each lens. So first, I'm gonna use the DJI lens. We'll make sure it's clean, and then we'll use the K&F Concept lens. Then I'm gonna do it with just the Pocket 3 lens with no lens adapters on it. I'm probably just gonna go for a little reveal shot around this plant. A lot of the stuff I take, I don't even know if I'm gonna use it in the video. Again, it's just to make sure you have enough shots to make a video. Filler shots and kind of like cooler cinematic looking shots. Just wanna make sure you have them, just in case you need them. I know this doesn't look that cool, me doing this. Probably the shot doesn't look cool, and I don't look cool doing it. But it's part of the game. So I actually slowed down the joystick speed on the Osmo Pocket 3 to 2. I like it on 3 or 2. I think standard it comes 4, and it seems really fast. Okay, so now we'll use the K&F Concept. If you look at just the light coming in through the window, this is the K&F Concept one. It's almost like it amplifies the sun rays, and it adds like almost like a mist, like a softening to the light. So you see there's really no sun rays here. As soon as I put on the K&F Concept, you can see those sun rays coming in. You can see the light rays coming off the chandelier as well. Take it off and they're gone. Let's try the DJI one, see if it looks like that. DJI one. And yes, it did. It amplified it a little bit. Looks a little bit more misty. It doesn't look quite as bad, I don't think, as the K&F in terms of just degrading the quality of the light coming in. So you can see right here that this is a really good shot to be doing with the actual wide lens on, because this room is so small. But you can see here the lens distortion. So this is the DJI. This is the K&F. You can see definitely see quite a bit of lens distortion right here. Here's the DJI lens distortion. Okay, so now you've seen me shoot the property. You've seen some side-by-sides with the DJI lens, with the K&F Concept lens, and with no lens at all. So I guess without further ado, here's the final edited video. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed when I was out there shooting is I noticed also some pretty hardcore vignetting when using both of the lenses, but more specifically the K&F lens. There was a little bit more vignetting, and when I went downstairs in the house, because the walls were so light and the ceiling is white, I really got an opportunity to see how much vignette was on that shot using the K&F lens. So again, if I was going to rate these lenses, I would say for real estate, I'll probably only want to use the DJI lens because there's going to be a lot less lens distortion. And I know some of you guys are saying, well, why can't you just correct that lens distortion? Just use some lens correction. Well, if you bring this footage into Premiere or something like that and you go to correct the lens distortion, what happens is the video crops in anyways. So you lose all the benefit of having the wide angle lens. It might be a little bit wider, but then you also have some of those negatives as well. Like, you know, there was a lot of lens flares caused by both lenses. So overall, I think for shooting real estate, I would use the DJI, not the K&F. I think for vlogging, I would use the K&F and not the DJI. And I'll probably end up not using either of them too often, but I think that when shooting real estate, to pop it on for a few shots here and there when you need it is perfectly okay. So that's my opinion. Why don't you guys leave your opinion down in the comments below. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did get some value out of this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more real estate marketing tips. And if you're curious why your Osmo Pocket 3 footage might not be turning out so great, check out this video right here.